but one elim has already been made by Malibuka. And it looks like they might just be able to clean up the Grim Gate here.
It looks like they're increasingly getting better and better at the off-spawn fights in terms of being able to claim the loot for Grim Gates. It's just kind of what happens after, not really being able to utilize the loot to its highest and best potential. They're just kind of falling short there. As you see in the feed, Queasy just getting two. Destru and Pyro is getting taken out over towards Mount Olympus, while Silly 7-4s and just choose to disengage. It almost sees like two different mindsets going down. One team willing to get aggressive. The other team, they already got their 2 eliminations. They got what they came for in terms of Surge, and they're just ready to disengage on out. Get a great position that Levin and our analysts kind of broke down, the Surge towers, where they can get the best spot in order to get the most Surge possible.
Oh my days.
Making use of the bush bombs as well when getting that surge to kind of cover yourself, so your opponents don't know exactly where you're taking shots from. You can see another quick cleanup here at Mount Olympus by Queasy and Thomas HD. They're doing a very good job of winning the early games this time around.
This makes me wonder, are they even go for the medallion or not? If they are fully
You demand
uncontested?
results.
We've seen kind of decisions.
Introducing Veed Expert,
to go
our most
without
effective.
some of these medallions, especially the one towards Brawler's Battlegrounds, kind of leaves you as like a walking tracker of some sorts where they can constantly see you, and the effects isn't necessarily as good as some of the other medallions in the game. Teeny and Chap end up in another early
Oh my
game
days, guy got
skirmish, and it
sniped.
does look like it's an early game skirmish for the Forecast Tower, where they've gotten it 2 out of 2 games so far.
You gotta be careful as the crack came through on Teeny. Just giving a little freedom for Asa and Marco.
Scroll chilling on height.
The back end there. Volko Vortex are still on the tower, but Teeny and Chap now have been able to heal up here with a little bit of time, but the back and forth is going to continue.
My days, getting sprayed.
They've been able to win it. You see another team actually kind of boxed up over towards the Forecast Tower. Another
Chap's
higher
getting
on
no
the map.
break.
So no matter what happens here, if they want that Forecast Tower, it's going to be fight after fight to try to make that a possibility, as just Asa just put so much pressure from below.
Dude, this loot, this
To get
gray
them some
loot is
free and easy
crazy.
movement as Marco just gets tagged up. Shields drop just like that. Huge flank coming in, but it is going to be a trade. A knock for damage, but Teeny's going to be dropped.
Tenny's
1
dead.
for 1. And it is going to put him down into a 1v1 situation.
Oh, that. As
And
if
as I say that, he's able to not only get
Can you put up
Marcos
the res?
down, keep him alive, all while another spray is coming in. This could be a successful opportunity at a revive.
Great way of keeping Marco up, but Chap is not going to let
Oh,
that slide.
nah,
He boxes
nah.
himself up on the same layer now,
Aw.
looking to find an angle.
Chap just got
Two
hit from
nice
both
shots.
sides. That's
What a
crazy.
play from Asa. Both angles picked wisely. And now he's going to be able to get Marco back up.
It's going to be a big win for them. But if they want the Forecast Tower, it doesn't stop there. One side of the map, Faint God, Splash, Dexy, and Eclipse. Almost all day long, these two teams are battling it out over towards Rebels
Splash
Reach
God.
and the surrounding kind of splits. And they have to be careful, though, as they're trying to disengage down this area. There is another team on that island, in which it does look like they're trying to go in that direction.
You know, there's like
So they have to be
24
careful,
players
because now
who
they've given up
have the
high ground and
first
they're
round
surrounded by
today.
2 teams.
That's crazy.
Yeah, you can see it's not a good position to be in. They are going to choose to swim around to get themselves closer into zone. Comeback Blaha, sorry. As well, going to do a mid-map rotation here. They are not fully in the zone yet, as they kind of want to get to the least congested side. But there are some duos following them. As the Forecast Tower also has been secured. So they
I'm
do
not
know
sure.
where these upcoming zones are going to be closing.
Comeback and Blaha not having the best so far, but still plenty of games left to go. So you can kind of pick up that pace in a moment's notice. Wax and Pixie just trying to take down Splash and Faint. Over 80 points so far in this game, and it does look like they're going to barely and narrowly escape just over that mountain. And kind of gives Dexy and Eclipse, another team that was following them, an option of which team they want to go for. Do you want to travel
9
towards zone? You
minis.
see them in the mini-map beginning to disengage all the same. Splash and just kind of a little miracle happen.
Oh, cringe.
Targeted and chased around the map like we've seen so many other teams and players
Cringe
do
and
before.
aim, like, I think I'm second right now.
Cringe and Noms once again. continuing their aggression from the already 2 eliminations they have out at the start. Still in the underworld here. It's Marius Sangild, who's down below. Also, once again, getting a flashback to game 1. They are not looking healthy, low on shield. I wonder if that's just a temporary thing. Yeah, there it is. Okay. They're more than healthy enough. They just had to recuperate it.
That's crazy.
With how active this team and like kind of how dominant this team has been, you even see the quick stat there.
Best
I'm just
aim,
more surprised
Marius.
about how low amount of damage they've actually been able to do as a full duo so far. They have about under 1,500 total damage as a team, which is something you wouldn't necessarily expect from a contested drop with the notoriety that is around Marius and what he's able to do in a lot of situations. So I want to see them kind of pick up the pace here one way or another to close out the day and really start off hot in day 2 tomorrow.
Thank God, just infinite pressure. Oh my days.
Instantly recuperate what they have lost in this engagement. As Fant splash though. Not looking
Ah, and
healthy
he's
at
dead.
all. Walks is just 1 pick of zone away. As the knock has came through by Pixie. 2v1 now, player advantage. Just 1 more shot needed, and just like that, it's been closed off. Pixie getting the job done.
Have to be careful though. Dexy and Eclipse still on that mountain range. I said they had the
Wow, he doesn't
flexibility,
take
options.
the,
They chose to just kind of stagger
purple
themselves.
hammer.
Wait for a lot of these fights to break out. Once you start to hear the noise, once you start to feed, get active, that's when you're going to try to go. You get that green light. We have to be careful. Wax is positioned above. Pixie is down below. You don't want to sandwich yourself and put yourself in a bad spot, and that's why you see Dexy overbuilding to try to get himself into a better spot than he was just seconds ago. Eclipse is ready to start the fight.
Oh,
down
no,
below.
he's got
And you see them
height.
slowly but surely falling down the side of the mountain, separated, isolated away from everybody else in the lobby.
Watch Pixie though, recuperating that shield and HP that they had lost. Now, both players looking healthy. The duos don't know exactly though how tagged Walks and Pixie are. They know they just got out of an engagement and they're trying to decide, are they low on loot? Are they low on mats? Little do they know, 3 chug splashes to spare. So this engagement will take a long time to finish if they continue playing aggressive like this.
Looking in the minimap right now again, Takata. The minimap has so much information. That third-party team rotating nearby. They hear the noise, and you kind of see their arrows turning around in all directions. Is this something we want to go after? Is it not something we want to go after? You can see Dexy and Eclipse fully focused on that team that's right below them. Not a single one of these 2 players, or even all 4 of them, has had a chance to really look up and assess the situation. And as soon as I say it, you see them try to disengage on out, and that is the signal. They started to get tagged up into the distance, and now they know it's safe from the position in which they're at.
Cringe. Noms now made their way over to the bunker here where Skivvy and Haris are at. Will they kind of trap them in there though? Or will they kind of just take some shots and then let them be?
Oh, wow.
Tough situations. You got Crimson Nonge who are trying to fight for this bunker, make their way down.
Nah,
and then you
they
got
lost
Team
like all
Risk
their
and Speed who are
dashes
just
trying
kind
to
of
do that
bunkered,
push.
hunkered down. They really have nowhere to go, and luckily for them though, the zone is in their favor.
That's
Oh,
kind of the positive of the situation, right? And not only that, them already having
Cringe.
2 eliminations
Smart.
also means that they've done a good bit of damage just to get here. So even when Storm Surge does start ticking, they should not be in much of a worry. You can see Underworld 2 still has a couple duos as well. But so far, it's kind of going to be a stalemate here for both duos.
Yeah, it just kind of worries me as you see those other teams towards the Underworld, even though they're kind of busy right now, looting up the scraps, farming up as much as they need. As soon as they want, literally at a moment's notice, and then you combine the fact that there's Underworld dashes, they can close the gap in an instant. And even if they're not going to try to disrupt the fight as a 2v2, they can kind of wait around the side and try to third party as soon as somebody tries to disengage.
bro, these guys are just full camping them, bro.
As the clock ticks, the emotes come through. Skivvy here is saying, we're not going to move. You can stay there as long as you like. As Axe Force and Clownski have a different idea in mind. Looks like it's Pink, and he's got no duo partner.
Wings again.
Yeah, I thought I saw it in the
Nah,
feed.
that
Actually
snipe is
confirmed
diabolical.
It was Axe Force. I was able to get that elimination and cleanup onto him. Kind of leaving him as a solo to just wander around in
think
the
that-
zone, though. As long as he has
Oh.
some heals, and very, very early on still in this game that he could get the reboot back. So they have a whole plethora of other
He
worries,
might
but
live,
he actually
but he'll
doesn't
need
have
to
any
do
heals, so
something.
there's only so long he can stay in the zone, and even though he does have the wings, he can't necessarily use it right now going up that hill and up that mountain because it just makes him an easy target to get taken down.
Yeah, I mean, with 25 HP, that's not the position you want to be in. Even Yanis or Flixie could just take one shot from where they're at, and if it connects, Pink is gone. But it looks like he is going to make it.
I think you don't need to do that
Force a
anymore.
Reboot ban here. Try and bring Vico back into the game, but
He's dead.
come back from this.
Yeah, I know
they're
he's
gonna
dead.
need some big eliminations, but if a duo is going to be able to do it, I mean, it's going to be Pink and Vico if they can get healed back up.
Yeah, and luckily they are kind of right next to a POI, a big one at that. An uncontested one from Yanis and Flixie, so there could be a lot of loot left over that actually they can utilize and kind of get themselves back into the game.
So just finally showed up. Yeah, look, Camiseti, 4th place.
And you can see not only is high up on the
Vanyak
mountains,
and
so they can use the
Swizzy are
launch pad, the
fast.
Flowberry Fizz. They have the wings in their inventory, which you're seeing a lot of players popularize here today.
But
Kinda
look at the
used
difference
for
between
rotation.
4th
It's
and
not
like
the normal
1st.
way
It's
to
insane.
They're not flying through the sky looking like an eagle. They're making short bursts from one spot
Yeah.
to the next to make the rotation that much easier.
Yeah, and it's incredibly popular so far today, like you've mentioned.
No way.
Seen a lot more
Oh, no
than
way.
in previous tournaments here. And just like we saw, Vico has been brought back in the game, but with no heals.
No, Vico is
shields
screwed,
before
bro.
they start taking fights.
No mats, no
I mean,
guns,
hopefully they
no.
can find something.
nothing.
25 below. It's not like they have a lot of time to work with.
I got a question, and this just might be thinking outside of the box. Would it? Never mind, he's already down. Well, that question's out the window by Pink. He gets knocked. I think there's a chance for Vico to try to save him, depending on who actually got the credit for that knock. That was Kiro, so far into the distance, and I was gonna say if he wanted to give himself just a little bit of a push, some fall damage, gets revived, he would have more HP
And some
in theory, but
guns.
it's a little bit of a moot point now. So Vico, even though he's gotten one reboot already, he got the card and has to get ready for another one.
Yeah, it's a tough situation all around.
Oh, let's see
Indeed.
this.
We can take a
Oh!
look at what Cringe of Noms have been up to at the bunker, though. It looks like they finally let in. Skivvy and Jerez tried making their way up, but quickly enough it paid off for Cringe and Noms, I would think.
That's
Unless a
crazy.
2v1 comes through, but Jerez will get taken down. It was close, though, actually. Cringe was left at 39 HP with his duo partner down, but...
Cami and Seti, let's go.
Okay.
That's that side
Maybe even
rotate.
Start to build a little bit of confidence. Start to get momentum flowing in your direction. Just like what Cammy was able to do. Don't be mistaken, he has more than 4 points. He was able to get 44 in that last game alone as a solo. And already
Perfect.
with one elimination in this game,
They're doing the
adding
strat.
more point
What?
totals, and you can see they're making the slow rotation towards the outside because they already have that early game damage. Flowberry
That's
Fizz,
crazy.
jump pad to jump pad. That's going to get them a great spot at the edge of zone when they finally make their way there.
Wait, what? Cami and Seti, what?
Rifle in hand. All it takes is one headshot to turn the game around. And it might be exactly.
I mean, they're on the same
what this
team,
duo
so.
needs. I was waiting.
Cami got a solo
storm surge
clutch
threshold
because,
to
like, he
refresh, but
said he was dead the entire
To
game,
my
so that was
surprise,
probably it.
283 is actually how much below they are. So a headshot sniper rifle is just going to be the start of what they
Real.
need.
You can see there are a couple teams. They're walking up into the distance, but for how long it's actually going to take to get there, it might be more than just a
You know,
sniper
they're
rifle.
screwed.
Might have to go for an Olon.
No shield.
And with no heals,
No
and
builds.
shields, no builds, no resources. This is just a nightmare of a spot for Pink and Vico to be in, but I feel like if anybody's up for a challenge, it could be them. And the biggest thing is they
And
need to
one's
figure out a way
dead.
to start the fight with damage, but it does look like Vico gets taken down. Frizzy and Howley find him
There we
slipping
go.
behind enemy lines, and Pink really has no choice but to go in, and
Yeah.
he meets that same fate. He goes down altogether, but it's Skrill and Scrap to actually get the loot taken for themselves, even though they didn't get the elimination.
Great wait. Great pickup.
Because of placement.
See how Swizzy is able to do it.
Swizzy,
Nice little drop down
Vinak, let's
dash.
go.
Almost piece controlled him with the dash there. No builds required. Just predicted where he was going to jump out.
Yo, welcome back, Milo.
And even though they got that elim, still 114 below, forced to continue looking for shots, as Merstash Malabuka might just be the closest duo, but they have just found that solo that was cracked. Swizzy, though, gets his elim stolen as the clock keeps ticking. 52
Nah.
below, damage keeps striking.
Swizzy, bro.
They're gonna be
That
forced
is
to drop on Merstash Malabuka, but
diabolical.
that's not a
Give him
duo
that banana.
you want to face against.
And that was a very, very risky shot. You see,
And they need
Vaniac is a
tags.
sliver of
There we go.
HP. Swizzy now getting ticked down.
Barely.
And they do not have a chance to feel comfortable with this Storm Surge. They get a moment where they're above, and they immediately
Takes the
go
thing
below
with
to
Queasy,
take
I
some
think.
damage.
I mean, with
Luckily, they
Vina.
had more than enough heal to try to out-heal their current situation. And with 16 above, they are
Queasy.
on the hunt yet again. Vaniac leading the charge. Swizzy close behind, and there are so many teams they can target out as soon as they make their way here.
No,
Shots being
Queasy's
made, but nothing
thing was someone
connecting.
else.
Just 31 above now. One shot from the DMR could be all they need here, but they get cracked. And Vaniac gets dropped. Swizzy now, from taking home the VR in the last match to being left as a solo.
Zasa there. You don't even know if Marco's still alive, and he's able to kind of find.
But yeah,
anything to
welcome
get
back,
his hands
Milo.
on.
Welcome
Swizzy
back.
knows that he cannot get the reboot, cannot get his teammate back. Quickly repositioned himself a little bit down the mountain. And in a much safer spot where less and less people can try to target him.
Absolutely
He looks on,
sprayed.
sees the team there, tries to target him, but that's Benno and Tayson who might try to take advantage of a lot of that damage. But it's Swizzy who actually gets the knock. Credit for that one as well. Quickly swipes up the body. He knows he needs as much loot as he can get his hands on as he's a solo.
The smallest amount.
I mean, if we saw anything from Cammy in the last match,
He's got good mats,
44
though.
points as a solo.
Is Geb online? Yes, he is
Hoping to
online.
see Swizzy can do something similar here.
He's in the VC. Speak?
Seeing the feed kind of light up there for a moment.
Wait, Geb
There's
is
a lot of
here.
players and teams
It's
kinda
just
getting left
I
as
need to fix my
solos.
Discord audio.
Unfortunate positions as Seti and Cammy now have
there
a
we go.
huge strength in numbers.
You can hear Gabby now.
You can kinda
Speak.
see their position as they
There you go.
climb up the leaderboard. Currently positioned 4th
I forgot to
place.
fix it earlier. That's my fault, Milo.
Can't say no one would have predicted it because I think 11 kind of shouted it out along with Reese Hub. It's been the Cammy
Come
curse.
on.
But I mean, if they can get top 5 in this major, is that more of a curse or is that a Cammy blessing?
I mean,
Where's Seti,
consistent
bro?
Tops and grand finals. You can't really complain.
Where?
But they want to take home that Axe of Champions, and they're en route to doing it. The deal reason, not too far behind in 9th place.
Not too much to wait for them. 169 above the threshold. Just got to rotate from point A to point B. It's going to be a little bit harder than those that already have the wings, but they make it look almost easy as can be. And while they're trying to get their spot in
Oh, they're
towards
getting
the zone, they
sprayed.
immediately switch layers. They don't want to be stuck on that ultimate low ground because if you look at the mini-map, Takata, there are different mountain ranges, different edges. It could drop down. It can go even higher. So you want to plan for the worst and hope for the best.
With just 20 seconds till zone does close, and that 8th
Come on,
zone
Venna.
towards one of the edges appears.
Oh, cheeky
Some
kill
know it
on
from the
blocker.
forecast tower, some don't. Venno, though, quick little points, just racked up as he continues to jump on into the zone.
He gets to his
Tayson
teammate
already
Tayson
made his
here.
way in. Now they have the kind of little box, so a bit of safety, but you got to be careful, as they might just be pickaxing right towards a duo.
Oh, they're ready to fight. One of the most aggressive teams in all of the land. It's just an unfortunate spot that it just kind of crunched down on the side of the mountain. Really not able to kind of move around in that box as freely as they would hope. Cammy and Seti once again find a way to get front side of the zone where nobody's really currently at, which gives them priority position over everybody else in the lobby, especially those that are so far back that
It's
have
good that,
max pull.
Cammy and
now
Seti
you
have
can see
good
as
zone
time and
here,
seconds
'cause
pass, others
they
are
don't have the
inching
greatest
closer
of
and closer in
mats.
that direction, but Seti and Cammy, they're the ones that are on top.
Let's see how they play it here.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
low on
Thomas and
HP,
Queasy.
but being
That's
ahead of
it.
zone, it's a perfect place to be. Thomas HD, Queasy, they had such a strong start to the game in the previous match, but as soon as they tried to hold height, even with almost full materials and a solid loadout, they went down in 2 seconds. So I know that can be difficult mentally, but hopefully with 4 elims on the board already, they can come out strong now in this 3rd match.
4 below though. 40,
Nope.
constantly falling. They don't have a ton of heals
Barely.
to kind of use in just a quick couple of seconds to try to out-heal what Tayson
Yeah.
kind of has left in terms of overall HP and shields. That's why
Wait,
Benno is just going on the attack.
Bro,
and what a
this is the
monster
first
shot
game
that he landed
Malibuca
onto
and Mustache have
Malibuca
actually gotten to an
that
end game.
alleviates a ton of pressure, and you see that
Yeah.
he's able to get the
They've
green
died
light
off
to go.
spawn in the
Benno
other
and
two.
Tayson reunite in the same box, and they're ready for this next rotation.
Job is not done though, neither for Cammy and Seti as they are 4 below. Cammy might be forced once again pretty soon to play as a
Nah,
solo.
bro.
Said he does not heal up
Cammy's
here.
played so many solos
Both
to
players
games
looking
here,
quite
bro.
low. That shot connected
Let
down
his
to 22
teammate
above,
be.
but it's not
Let
enough
Seti
for
be.
safety. 4 seconds left till zone starts closing and more opportunities arise to get shots.
Yeah.
Jason's gonna get dropped though. A challenge that I think Veno is ready and willing to take as he continues to rotate forward. Easy, very, very little contestation on this side of the zone as it continues to move forward. But he gets targeted out. Team staggering themselves behind for a perfect couple of shots like this. Veno still above the damage threshold. Very little to worry about other than making it from point A to point B safely.
Cringin'
Precise and easy.
noms
Up
are
above in the
very
clouds,
back.
looking to hold on to it. Nice little ring rotation to get ahead of zone. Great way to conserve their materials as Swizzy
Now
now.
Swizzy's a solo.
136 above. He has lost Banyak, but we talked about it earlier. Clutching it up as a solo, there's potential for it.
99 above the damage threshold. Flowberry Fizz, more than enough left in his inventory. Top 20 position.
Come on, Cammy.
Still
Yes,
more points and
Cammy.
distance to cover before he's done just yet as Robon gets targeted to the backside of zone. Cam, you said they get credit for that knock.
Oh,
Soon
they
get
have
credit
mats.
for
They don't
that
have mats. Come on,
elimination, but you
Cammy.
can look at their damage.
Pull it off. Pull it off.
Certainly 11 above
Rotate
the threshold
like
and
you
quickly
got
falling
nothing to
below.
lose.
So their job is not done just yet. Taking the first tick of that storm down to just 42 HP. Cammy needs to figure out a way to get damage. Seti gets
Two.
dropped. One more tick
No.
is all he can take, and he finally gets the Fizz in time. 2 HP.
Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on.
He cannot take any more damage or else he will go down, but luckily for him, Storm Surge turns off just in the nick of time.
Has the blessing just saved Cammy.
No!
Once again,
If you
forces
didn't
a
miss
solo,
that shot,
76. Is it enough? It's not.
unlucky.
Reason with too much HP. 180
That's
turns
fine, it's
around,
still
gets the
pretty
elim.
decent.
Now 4 on the board as he continues to stay up. Vadil has gone down. So many solos, almost looking like a solo FNCS, Jacob.
Yeah, Swizzy is going to be included, but he's almost
Oh
looking
my
strong,
days.
almost looking like a full duo the way he's playing. Doesn't really have time to pop the Flowberry Fizz just yet. Merstache joins the crew of solos in this game. There's only a few really left alive as a solo. Merstache is going to be one less that anybody has to worry about.
Swizzy continuing now. I believe he was the first solo we saw from any of the people that just went down, and also the last one standing so far. As he makes his way once again ahead of zone. Issue is, though, only 6 more builds. Flowberry is about to be fully used up now. No more shields. Only has the rings for mobility and not a lot of materials. Reason, though, actually still up.
And he's able to find a late elimination on a Trulex, probably leaving him back of zone. Can't get the loot, and now he's getting pushed
Thomas
further
is
and
dead.
further out himself.
Swizzy's
He
dead.
finally goes down. Thomas runs out of time as well. Swizzy has no chance, and this is where things become tough with everybody falling and dropping like flies. Only one team can come out on top.
Kira and Moppy close to high ground. Is it on their mind? Is it what they're looking to claim? As Cringe and Noms on the opposite, looking to drop closer to the midsection of the late game here, looking to see where the players are. Do they know that Dexy's in that cone?
Aw.
Is it a potential
Yep,
elimination
they get
they
him.
can find here? Looks for the shot, connects, as Noms is going to be able to pick it up.
Now it's a huge
Cringe and
find.
aim,
Peeking
just
through
keep
the build
finding
to make
people,
that one a
bro.
possibility. Peekaboo, I see you. Chicho gets found out as well. 8 eliminations.
They just
so
find
far.
people left and
even when we
right.
saw
It's not even,
Thomas go
like-
down, we know what Queasy is capable of.
Like,
6 out of 12
counterable.
games last year in Major 2 might be a different duo, but he's hoping for the same result.
Just 6 duos left. The turnaround onto Kiro. Can Queasy
Oh.
clean it up?
Oh,
Gotta
Queasy's
be careful,
dead.
though. It's a full-on duo down below.
Unlucky.
Hits the initial shot, but now is gonna go down to zone. Relvis continue to take shots. The Buell
No
on
way.
the low, but he's left alone. The
Aw.
duel goes in.
They were trying to be the first ones to win 2 different games
Pod
in the
side?
EU FNCS, but with them
Oh my
out,
days, this
and a lot
strat.
of the other teams as well, it's gonna come down to one stage.
No way.
Crashing down from above.
That's
Cringe with a nice shot,
crazy.
but his teammate Podesai is there with another crash landing to steal away the game.
What a way to close it out from the skies. Explosion on the builds down
Nah.
below. Shotgun shot after shotgun shot. Podesai with the cleanup.
That was just an electric
Holy.
ending to end that game. I don't know how many other players, how many other teams, how many other Fortnite individuals you would have ever seen not only use the wings of Icarus, but use it to smash down on their opponents in the final moments of the game to win it all.
Look at
Because
that.
even if they didn't get the elimination,
Look.
they would have bounced them back into the storm to where they eventually have went down.
Boom.
This was just a magnificent play to end the game.
I had to pinch myself
Crazy.
for a second when I was looking at Podesai and Snazy. I see them both take out the wings of Icarus, and I'm like, wait a minute. Are they about to charge down? Are they about to crash from above?
What the shagma?
Exactly what they did. Snazy got
So
one
many.
pump, but we don't talk about that because
That was crazy.
it up and got that VR. So let's head on over to the desk to break it down.
Thank you very much. Now, normally when we see someone crashing with some Icarus wings on, it's because they flew too close to the sun. But in the case of Snazy and Podesai, they knew exactly the moment to make that dive for the Victory Royale mini miner.
Yeah, this is the first game, I think, all day that we've seen a team just completely dominate height throughout the entire endgame. From, I think, 9th zone, these guys held it from, and it was just a perfectly played height game. We saw them, of course, with these wings. They rotated to the front side, then ensure that they could claim it from there. They saved so many materials by doing that, and it seems like 11, this is kind of the meta. This is kind of the way that teams are playing right now with these wings. They're using it to save so many materials and make those rotations so much easier.
Yeah, I mean, we've not seen people use them much throughout the season, right? But obviously with the Hades being taken out recently this week, you know, the spawn rate was buffed for those mythic chests, and I think in general people are just thinking,
yeah, just for this,
I
think.
End games and you know, have some sort of movement. I can't lie. When I saw them whip out the wings in the final moments here, I thought it was an overcook. I can't lie. You know, they almost did fly too close to the sun, Frankie. When Snazy got one pumped, I thought, yeah, okay, they've just thrown this. Podesai,
That's insane.
Collected, bang da da lang, you win your game. I mean, it was clean. Hashtag M8 win, Ale Blue, all the rest, you know, whatever you got to say, but big up to Podesai and Snazy for that one. That was a really cool win.
The mates are pink, aren't they? They're roses.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
It's all right. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'll teach you some French later on. We'll go through all the French orgs, and you can lap up all the extra follows you get on your socials. Levin. Let's talk about Queasy and Thomas. It's always lovely to see Queasy just showing how well he knows how to survive in the high ground, Levin.
I mean, again, I'm reiterating this from before. Not many people expected to see them be such a presence, with them, you know, being contested as spawn with Mount Olympus and just how their season's gone in general. But they've impressed, Minnie. Like, they have really looked good throughout these games.
Yeah, they have, and I think it's fair that we give them the hype, because they are, of course, a team that has got this grand finals experience. They both know how to play in these circumstances. We saw them trying to take height in the last game, didn't quite work out. Then, of course, Queasy was there at the end, couldn't quite squeeze out a couple more placement points, but it was a solid game from these guys, and I think they're overachieving right now compared to what so many people would have thought. I think a lot of people kind of wrote this team off heading into this grand finals, but now sat in 7th, this is a really nice, solid groundwork for them to just bounce off, you know, for the next sort of 9 games.
Yeah, and it's funny because, you know, obviously Jacob, I think, mentioned how, you know, this time last year, Major 2, Queasy and Venom were winning, you know, 6 out of the 12 games. I don't think that's going to happen this weekend. I don't think we're going to see a repeat of that. But, you know, a good performance here would you know, be wonderful for Queasy and Thomas.
And I mean, really, you should expect it from this duo on paper. And so it's fantastic to see that they're really stepping up as we head into this grand final. The big surprise for me, boys, looking at the standings, is actually seeing my beloved Vico and Pink have a bit of a difficult mid-game. It's unusual to see them struggling for Surge Tax Mini Miner, but unfortunately, that just ended their journey early in Game 3.
Yeah, really rough for this duo. I think they had a little bit of a task to do when it came into this grand final weekend, because, of course, the chains of Hades got removed ahead of grand finals. That was a huge loss for this duo, because they use those to fish. They use those to just to speed up their loot path, to get all those extra heals, and then all those heals that they could use in the fights to when they're going around and trying to WT different teams here, there, and everywhere, just to replenish those heals and even just save some in the fishing area. So I think that's a big mark for this duo that has just marked them down a little bit.
Meanwhile, though, Cringe and Nom,
that was insane, man.
One of the best off-spawn teams, Evan.
Yeah, I mean, they've been very impressive off spawn at Lavish Lair. Last you know, that early surge is clearly helping them in terms of consistently getting to these end games, and they're strutting their stuff in these end games, man. I know, Minnie, you mentioned earlier, you know, the concerns you had, obviously the vibes were a bit cooked after they tried to split up with each other earlier this season. Doesn't seem to be affecting that today.
They don't seem to be playing like a duo that have had that bumpy road in terms of chemistry and togetherness this season at all. And I know at the beginning of the show, Frankie, you mentioned, or you asked me, what's the best off-spawn team? I hadn't seen too much from these guys off-spawn this season, but now, from what we're seeing today, and of course last season even as well, this is a duo that definitely are that team right now when it comes to off-spawn because they are dominating.
I really hope we can get an interview with these guys, or at least one of them. I just want to know what's happened. What has turned them into this dream team, given that they thought that the other was their nightmare? And now they've realized that actually they are definitely stronger together, because it could have been so different, you know, if any of the other duos who had qualified for semis had wanted to go with another duo, we would have seen something incredibly different happening. Is this unprecedented, this performance, Levin, for a duo that did want to go their separate ways?
No, I wouldn't say so. You'd be surprised how many top teams like don't want to play with each other sometimes, right? Like historically, there's been teams who have, you know, not wanted to play with each other and they've gone on to win FNCSs. There's been examples of that. So, you know, it isn't unprecedented by any means, I'd say.
It's a professional relationship, I think.
Yeah, so many
What is that?
relationships in Fortnite, unlike the one I have with you guys
What
on
the
chat.
Sigma?
We're gonna head over to our caster zone, guys, because it's time for game number 4. I'm gonna put
All right.
11.
Let's put this back on.
I'm a little worried. It's game number 4 already. That means these games are flying by quick. Takada, I just got one question for you and everybody at home. Are you not entertained by the matches that we've seen so far?
Look, we've seen things that I've never seen in competition. Wings of Icarus in the last 2v2 of the game, like.
Do you believe him?
It's so nice having wings.
This glider is so good. I'm telling you, if you have this glider, you have to be using it. I'll show you in game. Yeah.
So?
Why is this drone?
Do you believe him?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Cringe. Jake Buka.
It might just be 2. It's actually Lavish Layer.
Again, I think this might be like a blessing in disguise for Crimson Noms because they're able to get the loot. They're able to get some early surge. And even if they don't necessarily take this duo out right away, they have options of what to do afterwards. So even though I expect this to be something that's fought out unless the other team disengages, I expect the, Crimson Noms, as soon as they get the loadout they want, to try to push that team out of what is their POI Lavish Layer.
Look at this, though. Mount Olympus. It looks like Thomas HD and Queasy were originally going straight into the engagement with Doom and Ice, but now almost a little switch up. Where these duos have been dropping within.
That
Mount
aim
Olympus.
is crazy.
It's actually gonna be the Ice that's going to take out Destru here. Doom has been dropped down, so now it's just a 1 versus 1.
Ooh, first kill of the game.
For Thomas HD and Queasy to come up and clean it up.
Yeah, they just get so much flexibility because of those teams not only just fighting it out, but fighting it out as early as they are.
Oh my days!
Queasy Thomas are just looting up, getting the perfect
Diabolical!
And just getting the final elimination.
Holy!
Once again, it looks like virtually uncontested Mount Olympus for themselves. There might be one team on top of that mountain.
That's kind of what happens when you
above,
contest
really
Queasy and Thomas.
Information. A lot of that will have came from the feed.
Looking at Sky Scroll, though. Their journey ended quickly in the last match, but now they're looking a lot more healthy. Shots through the window. No connection with the shotgun, though. It's actually going to be onto Sky. It's dropped down to 70 shield, but they have the upper hand in terms of positioning here. Hopefully Scroll, though, can find an angle.
Just need to really make up for that last game where they didn't necessarily have the performance that they wanted, but 3 teams moving over. You got Toos and Karmi as well, disrupting this fight from a distance. You can see some of that damage landing on Sky because of it. Kind of forcing these 2 teams into extractions lower than where they're currently positioned. Even Sky and Scroll are separated from each other. But with no current engagements going on, you can see in the minimap, nobody's just trying to rush one another and clean up a lot of that damage. This fight will and does tend to slow down just a little bit.
Same.
Going head to head.
Been rooting for them since the start. As they're like the best Polish team out there.
In this fight, cracks continue to come on through, but nothing yet to convince
Stroke
and Raban to go fully in.
It's a good shot.
Yeah,
Taking
no,
damage
that's
just like that.
sad.
Continues to back up. Fast Roki. Not going to scare him too much, though. He's ready to pop some shots, fire back at his opponents. We're not making him look like a pushover. And you can see, because of that, him and Robon have been able to get 2 different angles that they can now attack from, which some it's a blessing, but all it takes is that 1 second of separation for them to target out either Robon or Fast Roki.
Oh, golly.
2v1 situation. There's just so much pressure coming from all around. Fast Roki not necessarily getting the upper hand in that fight and kind of forced to heal up, back up just a little bit, and that third party gave him so much time to come in and disrupt this fight. And now the decisions have to be made. Do you continue on? Do you disengage?
Who do you think will win Grands?
You can see how
I
quickly that
don't
decision came
really
through,
know who I think will
On
win.
your mind already, what's the play? And they already decided
But
they're disengaging. So they
If I
started
had to guess who would
walking red.
win, it'd
They got a bit
probably
of
be
damage already, and to be honest, it's all they really needed.
Queasy and Thomas. I think, yeah, Queasy and Thomas. They're absolutely dominating. But I want Cammy and Sadie to win though.
Like I said, I think Cringe and Noms.
That's who I want to win.
I think that major 1 battle against Queasy and Thomas was a huge learning experience for them to now kind of just alpha up that POI.
Yeah, Cringe and Noms are
kind of take it as
actually
their
insane.
own, but
W, bro.
Samarius
Thanks.
in the distance, slowly but surely moving over. Sangilde as well. A long journey away from the underworld where they originally start, but sometimes with how they've been doing so far in this game, 60 points, they're behind their own goal, not necessarily ours, so they probably realize they need to shake things up just a little bit if they want to get back on track.
Playing sneaky here, seeing if they can catch one of their opponents off guard or maybe even scavenge a bit of loot. Being separated though.
I want Queasy to win because he got second for 1 point. Bro, it's crazy. And he's from my homeland. That's fair enough, Loot.
They're gonna choose
That's
to start
fair
working more
enough.
on the mid game here and rotating.
The team so far, yeah, they've really had almost virtually no struggles when it has come to Storm Surge. Trap has about 1,700 damage. Our Cringe has 1,700 damage by himself. Noms has about 1,400. So they are doing just enough when it comes to that Storm Surge to constantly keep themselves.
Now, the Buki and
above
Mustache
threshold,
have been
not
dominating
worrying about
Grim
taking
Gate,
damage, so
but
that
it
way they
hasn't
can
actually been
primarily focus
working
on their
out for them too
positioning
well.
through each and every one of these mid games.
An engagement that we've seen time and time again. On the corner of the map, we see a lot of fights taking place. One of them, Pixie and Walks like being involved in, but you can see the danger that can come from it if you look at the mini-map at the bottom right. Another 2 duos about to be in their own fight potentially. So either team that takes those initial shots could quickly get third-partied, which is maybe why Walks and Pixie here have just decided, you know, we should just get out of here. Zone's gonna start
Fair
closing.
enough.
We do not want to be on the edge.
Edge zone is tough.
You just got to be careful because even though that side of the map is opened up, if the zone does pull
We're
away,
gonna do
that
Div
will
3
put 'em
scrims tomorrow.
on the congested side of the zone as we finally tune on board Yanis and Flixie. Not as uncontested as a drop as we thought we were going to see to start the day. You see multiple teams, including CZB and Nathan, moving in over towards Reckless Wearways, stealing away the loot.
Because we
And
have
that's what
until
happens when you're a
May
little slow to get out of
23rd.
your POI. You try to
which
loot
is
just a little bit
Thursday.
Too much. The Sky and Scroll looking like they're trying to have a little bit of a sneaky play. Make up.
No, 'cause I
Knocking
need the
opponent first
active
off,
roll
and land on
to
the
not
other
get
one as
kicked.
well. Both of them are being put to just low HP, but Scroll looks like he's just by himself. I don't know where Sky is at. He finally joins the mix.
Yeah, but we've got till May 23rd to get the active roll.
Very little HP, and he's just firing shot after
Why
shot
did Mongrel-
after shot until he's finally
Wait, did
able to pick
Mongrel
up
and
a
Savage
knock
call
on
for
at least one
Grands?
of the two
No, they
players
didn't.
so far.
Kira caught running. Didn't even have a chance to turn around as Sky picked up the elim. I think they're even going to be happy with that. They could chase the solo, but it's not worth it at this point. As now they're going to comfortably, with that bit amount of damage, just continue with their match.
Then there's going to be
Reveal reason.
Invitational soon.
Right above Swizzy and Vanyak, 2 Titanic duos going head-to-head.
And see teams you almost expect to be near the top of the leaderboard through and through. 219 points though for Swizzy and Vanyak. That calm, cool, collected game plan. They already have a win. They have consistency underneath their belt. And even though this is just 6 games through day 1 and they got 6 more tomorrow, you want to give yourself as much of a cushion over the rest of the pack as possible.
2nd and 6th place fighting.
They are fast, I think.
In the early game could potentially mean huge shifts in the leaderboard, but as both players seem to have disengaged. It's going to be a bit of time for them to continue with their path. Let's take a look, though, at Sky and Scroll, what they were able to do here.
Yeah, that first shot and just the pressure is just too much. And that's what happens when you have a lot of that piece control. You can take shortcuts while your opponent is trying to escape, and then you kind of have them blocked off on one wall, boxed in, your box, really no exits. It's kind of what you'd expect from Sky and Scroll.
Teeny Chap, huge start to game one. I'd love to see them play once again for that hype.
Gabby?
If they can make it there.
If we stay
But as
in
the
Div
bunker
3,
battle continues,
it'll be so much worth
These can
it
take a
if
lot of time
we just
to
don't play
conclude.
like dumb tournaments like Mix
A lot
Up
of hype
Monday,
surrounding this team.
and we just
And
play
it's the
like
early
PR
games, you can
tournaments
kinda see
only.
a lot of their potential, a lot of their shines of greatness.
Because Div 3 is
Just the
actually
endgame
just
or
better than
lack of opportunity to play some of these end games
like
is where
non-PR
the team falls
tournaments
short, a little bit of
and
a
like
cheeky
Mix Up Monday,
opportunity
like
there,
Mix Up
trying to go
Mondays
for
and
a
stuff.
side shot. Voco Vortexers continuously trying to gain the pieces back, and they're willing to trap themselves in this bunker to make sure that they get the loot. You see the zone is going to be all around
Oh
them,
shit,
so
you
they
got
have more than
500
enough
subs.
time
Congrats,
to
man.
wait
Thanks,
out
Loot.
Chat team.
I appreciate that, man.
shots continue to come on through. Getting a flashback. from the
Now
last
all I
match.
need is
We saw
3
how
million
long it
views.
took to get out of that bunker.
So halfway there.
And this might just be a similar scenario.
Basically up to Voco Vortexers how long they want to stay down there, and then Teeny and Chap. I feel like
Actually.
their time limit is how much surge they currently have. Do you have the luxury to wait in there, or do you have to kind of build one of these towers like you see Queasy and Thomas in order to get your own damage? Not too far off of where they start towards Mount Olympus. Definitely have kind of handled a lot of the struggles that they had up until this point.
I'm gonna be here on my ult too,
They
so
seem
you
to be
get
able to push
more.
themselves over the top, play to
Nah,
that full potential.
if
140
anything,
points, great spot on
follow
the
me on
leaderboard where they're
Twitch
currently
because
at.
Twitch
But you know
follows
Thomas, you know Queasy, never
are
have
like
these guys
a lot
at
more
place
useful
outside of the top 10 in an FNCS.
than YouTube subs. Like, cause as long as you like watch my
I know, I'm getting
videos,
good
then
feelings with
then
Thomas and
then
Queasy. They haven't
that
completely
will like
popped
support
off
me
yet,
enough.
but
Like I'm not even
they're
kidding.
getting
If you just
closer
watch like
and
one of my
closer,
shorts,
Jacob, and the good news is with 2
then
days
that's
of
already
competition,
enough. But like
6
on
more matches to
Twitch,
be played out
I
tomorrow.
still need a bunch more
3 more
followers,
today,
and I still
including
need
this
a bunch
one.
more like average viewers. So if you
This
if you
could
want
be one of the
to like really
duos
support me, then
potentially
just
will
watching
take
on
home
Twitch,
that
even
Axe
just watching on
Champions.
Twitch would like help
Yeah,
so
got as good a
much.
shot as any. And the way
Because
Mount Olympus has been
Twitch
playing out so far here
monetization is
today,
so much easier
playing
to
out
get than
perfectly
YouTube
in their favor. And a
monetization.
battle I felt like we kind of talked about. We mentioned it just a little bit. Pink and Vico, Yanis and Flixie, the possibility of them two engaging is actually real, especially with not too many opportunities for Yanis and Flixie
What?
to get the Storm Surge to start out on Reckless Railways. This is something that we saw very, very similar in Major 1.
It's just
They rotated
affiliate,
over
so-
towards this forecast tower. Coincidentally enough, it was
The
against
things you
Pink
need
and
for
Vico,
affiliate,
where
that's
they
it.
tried to get as much surge as possible.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier. The potential of that back and forth hasn't been happening too much today.
I am
But
7% of the way
time.
view wise
Now the
to
separation has come through from both duos.
what's it called?
Nothing too risky on
Yeah,
either side.
7% of
Eighth
the
and
way
second
view
still,
wise
third zone
to
closes before the
monetization.
tiers, so
But on
we'll see
Twitch,
them make their
I'm
way
like
closer and closer
halfway to
to the
monetization.
zone here, but Cringe and Noms
And
once
keep in
again,
mind, I've been doing Twitch for a lot
non-stop action
less
for this duo.
than YouTube.
Yeah, they're ready to take a challenge after challenge.
So loot,
You see they're
just
so
watching
far
on
away from their
Twitch
original
would
landing
support me
spot
so
of
much more.
Lavish Layer. So they went hunting for good positioning, and they ran into Cheeps and Turtle, who didn't have to go far from the original drop spot of the Underworld. And Cheeps and
Yeah,
Turtle, one of the
Cringe and
teams
Noms
that's
are
put
on
up
first.
at least
236.
one VR throughout the qualification process of the semifinals, proving that they have the blueprint down packed, especially when it comes to those set lobbies. But now when you're playing against the best of the best, all
Suzy and
stacked in
Banyak.
one lobby, this is where you get put to the test.
Izzy Banyak gonna choose to separate a little bit. Both sides of the ridge.
Dude, the point gap is insane.
have eyes on them now.
But
you
the
can
thing
even
is,
see on the
day
mini
2,
map,
there's a multiplier
the
for
only
kills
duos
and
that are in the surrounding area are quite
and
far.
yeah,
So it looks
yeah,
like they're
there's
kinda
just a
planning
multiplier for
where
kills,
they're
so
gonna take this
kills and
launch
wins, I
pad to.
think. So
No
yeah,
matter where the zone pulls, they have the inventory to get max height on that launch pad. Combine the
Cammy
wings
said
of
he
Icarus,
eighth.
you combine
Let's
the
go.
Flame Fizz, you launch off that launch pad, and you kinda
Cammy
get
said he
your
got to
pick
pop
literally-
off tomorrow if they
literally
want to win.
exactly where you want to land. And if the zone does pull in this direction, I think that will be a huge blessing for these guys to be able to maintain that position high up on the mountain with an escape plan right behind them.
100%. Pixie walks though. In between, what, 3, 4 different duos? Maybe even more. as some of them start to disengage here at the Underworld, but the good news is they're making use of their time here, refarming their break. Almost have cap materials if they can max up their break here. We'll see where this zone does pull, but so far it looks like nobody in this area wants to take shots at each other.
He's not just yet. Probably just a little too early in some scenarios. Queasy and Thomas kind of back to where I didn't expect them to be with how well they've been playing so far. I thought they would kind of minimize the amount of time they're staying in zone for as long as they are, especially since it's the finals. We've already had at least one heal off so far. But with 349 damage above the Storm Surge threshold, they do have the luxury to maintain their position in the Storm. They have the Flow Berries, they have the Legendary Bananas, so it won't be long before we see them outside of the zone and even possibly having to rotate to the next.
Zohan and Trash, 90 below here. Good news is being...
They're probably some of the new people who have made it to Grands, because there's like 24 people who made it to
around
Grands
the surrounding area and potentially even find some other players that might trade shots with them. But as the clock's ticking, they're getting more below. Already 141. Goes back to 83, but they've just got 18 seconds until Storm Surge will start ticking, so they've really got to do something soon. And look at that, Jacob, the combo with the Wings of Icarus once again. Getting a huge amount of damage, but it's not enough.
Yeah, really catching a lot of players off guard in this finals. It's just not something you've scrimmed against, not something you practice against. You even got the Thunderbolt of Zeus coming in from different directions, forcing Trash and Zohan to just not get the Storm Surge that they wanted.
Yeah.
Now they're falling further and further below that damage threshold. Even though they do have their eyes on the Cheeps and Turtles, they're not really going to get the opportunity. Zohan's finally going to get knocked by Cringe, who now re-enters into the mix. Him and Noms are able to clean up that elimination fully, get the loot. Even though they're pressured momentarily, they have very little
so much above. 500 above,
refresh, they get the materials, and they're 550 damage above the surge threshold.
Trash not only getting picked by Zone, getting pushed as well by Cheep and Turtle. Cringe Noms, though, know exactly what happened, and they're hungry for a little bit of the pie. Shot comes through, nothing big connected.
You've seen them. Storm
so
Surge
unlucky.
really dictating the way a lot of these players are going to play as Psycho and Boltiax
Unlucky.
out Snazy, take him down altogether. Podicide trying to survive, but he gets taken down all the same. The Gentle Mates weren't handled so gently in that last fight, from a big win to getting taken down before placements.
Prodoxy and Trip. Still just 9 below the Storm Surge threshold. The good news is they do have a lot of players in the surrounding area. Andalex and Sado even looking like they're a little desperate as well with their edits they're doing on the cone. So there should be opportunities here to get tags. With that Thunderbolt of Zeus, Prodoxy here might try and pull something off.
Yeah, typically it's Prodoxy and Trippin. Even Trulex and Chicho.
Now that's so slick.
Sky bases in the distance. They use
That's
the quick
insane.
window, trying to cover as much as possible. None of those shots realistically able to bleed through, but for Doxy, you got to give him at least an A for attempting something like that, especially since he's 24 damage below the threshold.
I love how he lined it up too. 2 boxes up, 1 little window, full safety while throwing those Thunderbolts, and it looks like he might just look
Oh,
for
the
one more.
dashes! You can dash while Zeusing. Wait, that is so smart. What?
If it's 11 or 1, being above the damage threshold is where you want to be, but
That is
instantly they
wild.
fall right down below 26, back where they began. But Volko, Vortexes, they're the ones on the other side that have to meet their maker.
Oh,
First
they
one's
didn't
gonna
get the
dropped. Volko goes down very, very
tags
easy to Prodoxy and
from
Trippin,
the
and
knock.
they have the choice here. Now that they got all the loot, they got the elimination and the damage for Surge, do you keep going or do you disengage now that you're just getting taken out by Storm? Each second you last is going to be less health you're able to leave with.
It's the big question. As you can see, how many players are getting affected by the Storm Surge as those lightning bolts come from the sky. Benno Tayson being one of the duos, but all they need is one quick shot. Cherry is down below. Can Benno connect the shot though, as players from afar are still continuing to apply pressure? No shot's been connected yet. They've lost so much shield already. Just not being able to get that one tag.
62.
Now one tag is just causing them so much
Come
commotion.
on,
Finally, he's able to
Benno.
get one. on the tail, even spotting Vidil out on the other, just trying to keep on increasing that storm surge. They're in such an okay position to stagger
cheeky little dip
back and get the surge, but it has to be worth it. You have to at least get it at the minimum.
Yeah. Oh, Raison dies to storm.
Like I mentioned earlier, being in this part of the map,
That's wild.
you can rotate a lot quicker with that river of sticks, even though Reason was unable to do so. Everyone having those dashes also just allows for a majority of the duos to get positioned where they want to quicker.
Box stop.
Thomas HD and Queasy being one of the duos, kind of just taking shots at everybody that's rotating in, but Benno now looks like they found it. The shots they so desperately needed has put them 70 above, but how long are they going to be comfortable with that?
Cold.
I like the way he's just taking opportunities and not really backing down from a challenge. That's something that you have to do in moments like this for Venno and Tayson.
That's cold.
Be persistent, not really give up on the chase. Two of the greatest players in all of Fortnite. They know exactly how to handle pressure from all directions. Yanis and Flixie, they're the ones that are in their line of sight. Voltiax and Psycho Cool, same ones feeling that pressure outside of the zone, trying to make their way in.
135. Drop down to 106. Continuing to look for those angles. As now you got to be careful. The pressure's on them. It's Yanis who's looking to get in.
Yeah. He's dead though. He's dead to Surge.
Flixie as well following shortly after. Both players now just on the borderline of getting eliminated to Surge.
Yanis drops. It's an easy
Benno,
kill for them.
Holding strong, not even taking shots yet, as he knows if he allows them to get damage, it could be what saves them.
They're gonna desperately need to continue to hold this.
Swizzy got the tags. Let's go.
Trying to break into the box. Swizzy's feeling some of that same pressure on the other side, but they're ready for a challenge. They've been practicing. They've been progressively building that momentum here throughout the day, and I don't think there's.
She's 240, 223. It's so.
Definitely not.
So like, it's literally just these two fighting each other.
Players on the borderline. You can see how difficult it is in grand finals. It's no qualifier or semis. This is literally the hardest lobbies to get damage in, and a significant amount.
It's good for them, even though they're falling below the damage threshold.
No
they're
way.
consistently doing just enough, landing one shot here, 2 shots there, a couple more. Trying to bleed through Honest V and Riss, who's also getting targeted out by a whole nother team, and that's what you get when you're Swizzy and Vaniac and you build yourself into this position. You're able to kind of target everybody else that doesn't have that same advantage as you do. Even if you don't get the elimination, you kind of force them into tough spots with their backs up against the zone.
Zone has pulled northeast here, quite far from almost every duo in the lobby. So now they will be forced to rotate. The good news is, during these rotations, it's going to open up chances to take shots. Will they align is the big question, though. As Swizzy now makes of shots from afar, makes of up close and personal. They're going to be able to finish off the knock here as well. It's going to be a good amount of damage. 271 above now, as they'll have to make
they
their way
got
to zone.
271. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's just one of those.
Cammy and City are still alive?
You've been
I thought they died ages ago.
the entirety of this end game, and now you get to reap the rewards and really not.
Alright, they gotta win this game. Or they gotta get a bunch of kills because they are lacking in points.
Go down from zone to zone before it turns off altogether. And the last time we see Seti and Cammy with the high ground, it was stolen away from them late in the game. Let's hope they can learn from those mistakes and really come out with a huge VR.
The zone gets smaller and smaller.
I don't know why they say VRs.
The pressure just keeps on weighing down the shoulders of these players. Tayson's already lost Venno. He's forced to try and hold on. Will he try and pick him back
just
up?
res
Will he
him.
just let him go?
Yeah.
Pressure from the sides. I'm trying to think if one of the duos knows or who got that knock. Will they
Yeah,
continue
he
applying
gets
the
it.
pressure? Tayson might just be able to pick up Venno here. This could be huge.
Yeah, this could be a big moment for them. And I like the way he assessed the situation before instantly trying to go for that revive. Knowing that
Thomas and Queasy, Noms and Cringe.
Coming out and try to attack. And that's why everybody here is proactively trying to get prepared for this next rotation. Majority of the lobby does have the front side of the zone, but there are a few players staggered around that zone.
Oh shit, I got a
fought.
fart.
5 seconds and the rotate begins. Cringe Noms now. If you look up above though, it's Cammy and Seti.
Finally!
Looks like
Let's
they
go
won
there on
ground this
high.
game. The zones have pulled in their favor. Now they just need to maintain it. They have the water-bending mythic, so they can continue raining down from above. But they're still 9
How are
below.
they still on below
They need to
Sarge
start
though?
connecting these shots.
Not good.
Yeah, not necessarily too worried. Cammy does have that water bending ability that we've seen terrorize so many teams from above in games past.
Come on.
Sky and Scroll definitely picking up the pace throughout last couple games, and Tayson and Veno staying ahead of the curve every step of the way, from the left side of the zone to the right side of the zone, knowing which rotation to make to they're on the safe side.
Come on, come on.
Almost down. Queasy once again left as a solo. Just 30 above, forced to connect at least 1 or 2 shots here with the SMG. The zone keeps closing though. Playing as a solo, it's more difficult to go ahead, especially if you're not too healthy on materials.
I'm just trying to get them to point at
this should be more than enough to get him at the zone, but another solo
people on
is
height.
pushing it up is Tayson.
Top
Cammy
10
and
position
Seti.
for both
I want to
these
see
players.
them.
Solo is going to be huge for consistency on the leaderboard, but Tayson goes down. Queasy, he's trying to make his way in towards the zone, but he goes down as well. Both Chap and Marius get credit for both of those eliminations, even though they're
What
on
happened to
separate
Cammy and
teams.
Seti? Are they
know
still on
exactly what
height?
it takes to reach the top.
Titans taken out of the game as Swizzy knocks down another. Noms gets fully eliminated. Vanyak and Swizzy now up to 5. They're playing on this border of the zone closer to mid-ground, but are they going to choose to change it up? Wings of Icarus once again conserving their materials as they look up.
No, they
start
chopped.
jumping down height.
Yeah, this is going to be a big
Nah,
moment for
Seti's
them.
dead.
Cammy coming crashing down. They try to figure out a way to hold
Heal
on
off,
to the
heal off,
backside of
heal
the
off.
zone. It cost them everything. Great shots by Swizzy coming through, and now they are the leaders. They are the kings on top of high ground.
That's Cammy.
Taking it at the perfect
Cammy's playing
moment
heal off.
now.
Cammy's playing heal off.
Leaders of the high ground, all they have to do is stay up above as Merstash is continuing left
Oh,
alone.
Mustache is dead.
Hey, if anybody can make it happen, especially finding
Unlucky.
medkits at the perfect moment, it is going to be Merstash, but it's only one medkit, and it's not going to be able to be used.
Cammy's
He goes
at
down.
6th.
Top
That's
7
insane, though.
situation. Cammy feeling the pressure. He goes down
The
as well.
consistency
Top
with
6,
Cammy and
it's
Seti
anybody's
is
game.
crazy.
So
It's
many
been
duos
like
playing together here. The chemistry
top
is high
10s,
in this match.
like,
Sky and Scroll
in 3 games, and they died like 22nd in one game.
They might just try and retake height here.
This could be the perfect opportunity.
They're really consistent. They just can't get the win.
Look like they have their eyes on the prize, forcing every team that tries to climb up back down into the ground, facing off one next. And that's Trulex and Chicho. 2 eliminations so far, 170 points, trying to make up for lost time. And this is a chance with Sky and Scroll on the other time. They're feeling the pressure, but Trulex is up for a challenge.
All the battles forced to unfold in the low ground now. Duo versus solo as Sky now is forced to heal back up. It's Marius though.
Oh my
rotating inside of the
days.
zone, dropped to 20 HP, just 2 ticks away. Sky as well gonna go down. Marius is still up.
Yeah, everybody dropped.
No,
like
yeah,
flies
Vanyak
here
and
towards the
Squiz
end game,
and
Marius might be the one
Swizzy
that gets
so
the
on
good
height.
portion of that loop, but you still got a team positioned right below, with the Kings on top of the Council right above. They're looking to be the first team to get at least 2 victories.
No way
here
they get 2
in
wins.
The EU FNCS.
Looking to rain down from above as the low ground duo is getting stuck in the dirt here. They need to break through previous builds to make it into the zone, and Marius might just be on the other end here as he continues to build on up little by little. One solo
Use
in
all
the
your
middle of the
fizz,
height and
good.
low sandwich. Can he make something happen?
Hey, if anybody can make it happen, it is going to be him. We've seen big plays already.
Nice.
Once, and already you've seen Swizzy ready to come crash.
Oh, no way! A double win,
But
bro.
he gets dropped down, and the win is solidified
That is
by Swizzy.
crazy.
The theme continues crashing from above once again. High ground
Wow.
plus Wings of Icarus. Is this the new meta?
I think it has
Holy.
definitely shaken up a bunch in this last couple of games. We didn't really see it at all leading up into the grand finals, but now things have changed. Players are forced to adapt on the fly.
What a way to close it out. They took high ground at
Holy.
the perfect moment, taking out Seti, leaving Cam. Close it out in that last 2 versus 2 where we saw a replica of how the previous match concluded.
Yeah, I was a little scared. I was a little nervous. I saw Swizzy dropping down by himself. I'm looking around. I was like, is that a bird? Is that a play? No, it's just Vanyak with the Wings of Icarus ready to have a crash landing and take that game away. And it was a game they deserved. They've had high ground for
That's
a couple
insane,
of zones.
bro.
They put
I'm
pressure
actually
on everybody below them
speechless.
to make sure that game
2
was theirs.
wins
That
with the
was
same
insane. I'm sure
strat.
down below they were looking above, thinking the same thing that was on your mind, but I want to see how that's shaking up the leaderboard. So Frankie, what you got for us?
I'm also very excited. I've also learned yet another motto from watching the games today. I love a motto, boys, as well, you know, which is why suffer from full damage when you can Icarus down and cause full damage instead, Levin? And I think it's obviously a tactic that's really paying off for these boys. Do you think it's something they can sustain?
I mean, yeah, it's just so perfect in those final moments, right? One of you spray down, the other one just sort of crash landing your way onto the low ground team, just calls that
That was
ultimate
so
bit of
crazy.
chaos. I mean, Swizzy and Banyak
Might win. Swizzy might win all of FNCS. Bro, I mean, so far, Swizzy and Vanyak have had a crazy day one.
Key standout thing for me, and I think we'll see in the highlights in a
Like,
second.
Swizzy Vanyak, the first day of FNCS, they've been playing so well so far. And there's still 2 more games.
Chilling, looking comfy,
For
was disgusting. It was like a laser beam. I mean, they did not have any chance of stopping it. And
yeah.
It's right here. Look at this. Seti's just thinking, okay, we're getting chopped out. What's going on? Oh my!
Wow.
It's disgusting. What do you do?
I mean, it's that assault rifle.
What?
It's that assault rifle they get from their drop. It certainly packs a punch, and you can see exactly the way they did that. They just looked back, sprayed out the back, and of course, Seti had no chance. This is what I really like about this as well, actually. While Banyak was going down, Swizzy actually made sure that they were just looking at him first, and then instead of actually attacking the builds from Banyak, which we saw Snazy and Podeside do when they, of course, got their win, he actually just went around the builds and then directly onto the players, which just launched them away, caused all kinds of chaos, and ultimately worked out in their favor.
It's like the sacrificial bird trick.
There we go.
Yes.
the little dive bomb on top. I want to talk about some of the other duos that are still doing well and doing strong. And actually, we should start with Cammy and Seti because yes, they did get chopped down by the eventual winners.
That's just a bit silly.
But actually, whether it's Cammy solo clutching or the boys together getting to the end game, they are really impressing today, Mini Minor.
Yeah, this is exactly what we wanted to see from this duo, right? We haven't quite seen this perfect game from them yet. Even this game a little bit below up there on height, but it's this water bending from Cammy, the ability to keep on applying pressure to the entire lobby. We saw it even before they took height. They were just spraying all the time onto that opposite height, making sure that nobody else stood a chance. Of course, this was a moment right here when Seti went down. Cammy still had the height, but of course he had to drop down. There was no way he was going to hold that against Swizzy and Vanyak, but really, really solid from these guys. They just need to keep up that consistency, which is exactly what we know from this duo, and they'll find success, I'm sure.
And Cringe and Noms, it's actually so surprising that they haven't got Victory Royale yet, Levin, because these guys are fighting tooth and nail consistently, making it to the end.
Yeah, I mean, Swizzy and Banyak making it tough for them, right? They're stealing all the victory royales away from everyone. I think ultimately, right, those 3 teams in that top 3, even I'd say the 4 teams in
Oh my days.
Yeah.
As well, look at that. Swizzy and Vanyak with 20.
That's crazy.
In terms of eliminations, double a lot of teams' eliminations as well. It just shows that although we talked about at the beginning of the show, a lot of surge strategies this season are basing up in big towers, making sure to keep your distance. The teams that are finding those eliminations, particularly when they're making it into endgame and then, of course, taking height, they're the ones that are finding the most success.
We last saw Mustache in that game as a solo trying to clutch it out and unfortunately wasn't able to survive the chaos. But do we think that this is a duo that has the chance to really defend their Major 1 title by the way that they're playing so far, Levin?
I mean, by the way they're playing so far, maybe not, right? Because as we've seen, the mid games and end games, they just look so stretched. Everything looks very scuffed. They're struggling with surge. They don't have much loot. By the time you get to end game, or by not much, I mean much mats, right? The loot looks good in the inventory, but the materials always looks like a very dire situation. The reality is for these guys, though, is again, I hate to harp on this, 2-day format, 1.5x points tomorrow. If tomorrow they just start having a couple of those typical Malibuka Mustache games, if they can figure out Surge, they will be flying up that leaderboard. So I'm not hitting the panic button yet with those 2.
Yeah, I think
Are you hitting the Oh no, go right
Well,
ahead.
you know what? I think we're thinking the same thing, Frankie. I'm kind of hitting the panic button a little bit about this duo because I thought, right, this duo need to have a very, very solid day one, particularly with how that Grimgate situation is. You never know what could happen on day two, because if you look at a team that maybe is in 50th place, they might think, why don't we just land on Grimgate? Why not give it a go for a couple of games, particularly when the points are 1.5 times in placement and eliminations. They're sort of susceptible to getting that team landing on them, maybe multiple teams or maybe teams third-partying in, so it's quite risky for them, and of course having a bad day one is not working out, not going to work out too well for them, I don't think.
I figured that the panic button might be pushed by you, Mini Miner, and I also wanted to ask if you were also considering pushing it for Tayson and Benno.
I mean, it was a team that I said would win. Not too panicked yet, because of course they still have a long way to go.
Yeah, they really do. Meanwhile, 11, you got a little smug little grin on your face, mate, because Seti and Cammy doing quite well.
No, it's way too early to speak. Way too early to speak.
It's true. He's such a clever young man, isn't he? This one, biding his time to lord it over us all. We've got 2 more games tonight, so let's head into game number 5 with Takata and Jacob.
Come on.
Thank you so much. And I'd be surprised if you didn't think Swizzy and Vanyak would show up and show out here today, uncontested for Brawlers Battleground. How well they performed through the qualifiers and the semifinals. I think we have a team, might be too early, Takata, that is in the race for that first place spot. And if they perform as well here as they do in day 2, they'll have it on lock as a championship. Let's get right into the next game.
Levin said it best. It's too early to tell, especially with tomorrow being 1.5x points. Anything can still change up on the leaderboard. Day 2 is where we'll truly see everything unfold. Back at Lavish Lair, though, Cringe and Noms once again in a quick head-to-head.
Yeah, and Cringe and Noms are...
I'm going to put it on in a second, guys. Give me 1 sec.
They don't want to give half of Lavish Layer on and then worry about where they're going to get their loot elsewhere during their loot path. They're a team that wants to make sure this team knows, hey, if you're going to land here, only one of us will make it out alive to finish this game out. And Cringe and Jake, you see them slowly but surely not taking the same aggressive spots on that drop. It shows a little bit of a sign of weakness in my eyes.
Thomas HD, Quizzy. Still triple con, but once again, have their initial drop pretty uncontested, a freedom to loot a little bit before getting into the action. Last game, they basically got gifted an elimination as they came in for the third party. Will it happen again, though? I don't think the duos want to replicate that.
Yeah, I think a couple of these duos taking different spots this time around, including Queasy and Thomas, kind of switch things up, which kind of changes up the whole dynamic of that drop spot in the fight altogether. But fight that isn't going to switch up is going to be this one. Like I said, Cringe and Noms, they just want to prove their dominance here. 278 points so far in second place. And the games that they've had have been phenomenal. 8th, 4th, 2nd. Their worst game is a 13th with 6 elims. Like,
okay, I'm
that's
putting it on.
Surprising to say is your worst game.
I mean, it's insane. In terms of consistency, it is unreal.
There we go.
It's
sorry, guys.
difficult to keep that up. If anything, though, they can make it happen. But as that engagement continues, we can see what else is going on around here. Hidden in the bush, Jacob. No shots need to be shot here. He does not want to give away his position. Oh. Oh, do they know? Look at the mini-map. Look at the mini-map. The arrow eclipse pointing as the prey is now being hunted.
I really did like what he was thinking. I wish he would have just popped the banana of the fizz while he was still in the bush. That way when he finally ran, he can actually run. But you got to give him an A for at least the effort. Let's see how he's able to stay alive, and we'll grade that one as Eclipse and Dexy just seem to be hot on the chase. Even making him kind of tear off the side of the
Wave Cringe versus King Cringe.
Able to get 1 elimination so far, and that's where you're seeing a lot of these early game skirmishes that have been drawn out, taking some time. They're getting quicker and quicker to the finish.
Continuing to hunt now in the 2v1. Upper hand for Cringe and Noms. All they got to do is continue chasing here. Not a lot of freedom for their opponent. As the white tag comes through, confidence rises. We got to be careful. Pump shot attempted, but not landed.
Noms kills the other Cringe. Let's go.
What's great is that's almost like 8 free points. Anytime that team lands at free points, free surge. Obviously, it'll shake things up if they actually go down off spawn, because especially if it happens tomorrow and those 1.5 point multiplier, that's when things can come coming down. And then you also have that day to prepare, look back at a lot of the VODs, figure out what went wrong, figure out what went right, try to replicate the successes while minimizing the mistakes.
You know, what do you do at that point? You go like 0-6 day 1. Do you keep it going day 2 and just try and kind of adapt at the same drop spot, or do you switch it up? It's a tough decision you have to make.
Even seeing teams like this, Vocal and Vortexers, they're switching things up. Really haven't had the best start to the day.
Dude,
so far,
I've had this like ad, this Amazon ad so many times on my Twitch.
Or just engage out of a fight.
Yeah.
Right out of the gates. And as we tune in, Veno, Tace, and
Hate
they already
this
have a
ad,
knock
bro.
on the POTUS side, which is quickly cleaned up by Veno. And they see where Snazy's at, so you know Tayson and Veno strapping up.
I don't need a football.
Chase.
And it's not gonna last too long, as Tayson now drops right onto Snazy's head. 2 shots being connected. Quick, clean way to finish it off.
Quick and easy. Talked about
Real.
possibly pressing the panic button for a team like this. I feel like it's only a matter of time before they become online, start creating some consistency, and go back to the team and players that you know they can be, perform at the highest level. And this is kind of a replay of the first one getting taken down and Tayson cleaning up Snazy back to back on M8.
Vico Pink up against CZB Nathan in the Grand Glacier. Haven't seen too many engagements since the first matches around here. But it looks like Vico and Pink, they want to get those tags. They want that damage. But if the zone closes, they might be forced to move a little bit.
Vico and Pink
This is a
land
team I
grand.
felt like we were going to definitely see at the top of the leaderboard, especially with
No,
how
they land,
insanely consistent they've been. Not just the
where is it?
qualifiers weeks 1 and 2, but how insanely could they?
Didn't they land Junkyard and they rotate up here?
I didn't really see them.
Oh,
having
finally!
as many struggles as
Our
they
drop
had.
spot
Third
fight.
place, 7 elims was their best game, and they kind of fell down the ladder from there.
Let's watch this. Let's watch this.
But if a team, any team, can take fire late in the final day of today and kind of start that momentum for tomorrow, it is going to be Pink and Vico.
Panzer trying to hit some shots onto Fit. Know about Halo, but nothing connected just yet. And 1 player down is going to be forced to go deeper and deeper into Storm. As now the porta party.
Taking toilet. All right.
I'm excited to see a little bit more of this early game from Swizzy and Vaniac. Kind of see what they're doing. You see they're kind of leaving Mount Olympus, which means they had an early rotation out of Brawler Battlegrounds.
Yeah, they're stacked.
Throughout the day, you have seen almost a must carry out of this team and some others of the Wings of Icarus. And then they kind of have the Flowberry Fizz and the Legendary Banana to kind of round it out. And the Flowberry Fizz gives them 2 options. You use it regularly, as normally everybody does, or you combine it with the Wings of Icarus to cover more ground much quicker.
Marius left as a solo once again.
I haven't seen him yet.
Being forced to do anything he can.
We'll see him eventually.
169 effective HP and shield up against Cheap and Turtle. But I got faith in Marius here. I'll keep it a buck, Jacob. I think he can make it happen. They are in 12th place on the leaderboard. Turtle and Sheep being in 34th. You can tell they're almost a little scared here to go in, even though they know it's a solo.
Oh.
Connect the snipe though. Unable to.
It's almost like going to be a must for him to connect something if he's looking to continue to try to stay alive. Sooner or later, he's going to run out of those dashes. Finally peeking back. Misses that one on the Turtle. But he's getting ever so much closer as he changes directions very, very quickly, trying to keep his opponents on their toes. Back into the dashes, dips a toe in. And this is going to be his biggest chance to try to create as much distance as possible. Last dash going to be out. Marius, he's doing a good job of creating so much space. I got to give him so much credit for it.
Yeah.
But the hunt is going to continue, Jacob. He's not done yet. The mission isn't over. He starts swimming further and further away. This is going to be a long run. I mean, either he hits an insane snipe, or eventually they're going to catch up, and they're going to have to take that fight.
It's almost like they know where players that land the Underworld commonly position themselves at. Because even though Marius did a huge cut towards the left, Cheeps and Turtle following him on that same cut towards the left. And I think they lost him. I think they finally lost him.
Yeah.
Don't know exactly where he's at. You see Mary's in the mid
That's good though. That's
just
good.
north of the underworld, has finally successfully escaped Turtle and Cheeps.
Oh golly.
Someone who might be looking to escape shortly. The Buell has lost Velvis. Or Relvis, sorry. So we'll have to see how the escape continues.
It's only really a question of, does he have the reboot card? He did a good job of creating a space, creating
Dude, I don't even know what to
distance.
say.
But if he doesn't have the reboot card, he's have to backtrack, go in that position, and even see just southeast of where he's kind of running to, that little gas station that is parked by. Actually, I do believe that's the bunker. Excuse me there. And with the bunkers opening up, he can rotate in this direction,
That's
kind of
crazy.
spot, get information. And he's hoping that a lot of these teams that are positioned towards the north, or anybody for that matter, will try to contest a bunker, so that makes an easy rotation for him to a reboot van.
This is a great opportunity.
Don't know.
I want to do a bit of damage. Bilbio, though, seems like he's interested. Has he seen something? Does he know? The Trexer is right there as the builds start coming through. He hears the footsteps now. The movement as it's turned into a box fight.
He almost gets boxed up, path cut off, shield no more. He does
Bro,
have some left in the inventory.
this guy's
It's
just
about
been
if he has the timing and
running.
the space to try to disengage from this opponent, and it does look like they're ready to go on the chase themselves. He finally makes it to get a couple more dashes, but so do his opponents. Dancing all around, drops to just 13 HP, really not given an opportunity to try to survive, trying to create space.
Unlucky.
Eventually, he goes down to Trexer and Silly Seb. Forzen, they all enter the mix, and that's the thing. You hear the noise, you hear a lot of the fights, and you attempt to try to third party it.
Yeah, the commotion comes through, and it's an opportunity for the other duos in the surrounding area. Dexy Eclipse raining from above with that water-bending Mythic onto Pixie and Walks, which are fully boxed up here with, it seems to be no interest of anything except for maybe a potential knockdown as I hear the shots coming through. They might want to break down these builds. Eclipse Dexy aware of this, popping a flow berry to evade that fall damage. And it looks like just one more build needs to be edited here for it to get chopped down.
Quickly protecting themselves as well. Pixie doing the right thing of creating space between him and the falling players that achieves the high ground positioning for them, and they're ready to go ahead and continue to put that pressure down. But you see how careful they're actually being. Instead of entering into the fight, they're taking it layer by layer, piece by piece. And as
Holy
Dexy
shit.
fall down, Pixie and Walks slow to follow.
Continue though. Even though they did take height here, they're still looking for angles, still looking for shots. They know how important it could be, especially later on in this match. With more than enough ammunition to spare. They're going to continue seeing if they can connect anything else.
Yeah, and I was going to say, the further down they go, you're almost trapping yourself with only one exit plan, and Dexy and Eclipse quickly find that porta potty to try to loop and exit out of there, and then almost gives them a free rotation side of the mountain. They're also going to get a chance to get those underworld dashes. So
What the hell is that tower?
Disengage out of that situation.
Oh my days. They made a replica.
Interesting structure has been built here at Lavish. Shows how many spare materials there might be.
Cold.
As Noms is just gonna be maybe taking a nap here as he waits for his opponents to leave and even the zones to
I think
pull
he's doing
further
an
away.
emote.
Trying to say
Yeah,
they're
look at
Fringy
that.
Valley, they're the ones that position. Just
That's
right
crazy.
outside. You see Axe Force in the distance along with his teammate. A lot of time to wait, especially since the zone is kind of in that position. So my only hope he has is currently having the reboot card. As we take a look, another rotation from Queasy and Thomas. Game after game, they find themselves deep into the zone, trying to rotate on and out, scrabbing together to get any fallen loot, as you see, using the bandages, then the med kit. Just trying to get anything in your inventory that you can get your hands on. You see the foraged fruits and vegetables probably going to be next. But they just have to be careful because right now they're separated Reckless Railways trying to get together some loot. But they have CZB and possibly Nathan as well as a third-party potential ready to pounce if they don't catch him.
If Vanyak
Swizzy
and
Vanyak
Swizzy win this game,
in first place
I'm gonna
now,
be
also
so
gonna be the
shocked.
First duo to claim the Rift Island. Little extra loot, nice positioning. You can even see taking some tags through that bush bomb.
3 wins and an FNCS grands. That's crazy.
Good shots.
Yeah.
I wonder, like, do you think they have the medallion, or do you think they one of those teams that drop the medallion because they don't think it really does enough? It gives you extra damage for the scoped weapons, but I don't think it really does a ton of damage. So you think they're one of the teams that carry the medallion? Do you think they leave the medallion because they don't want their position to be known?
I wonder if it depends. I wonder if it's like...
Nah, he's got too much mats.
Are we gonna just play a bit more aggressive? Doesn't matter if we have a medallion, or maybe we want to do a little sneaky, uncongested rotate. They can kind of decide, choose to their
They're gonna
liking
go off of Cammy in a second because the wall
the
bug.
match is looking. Cammy Seti, 531 damage above the threshold currently. With
Yeah,
that
no,
one
well,
elimination,
how?
They will combo the Flowberry Fizz plus a launch pad.
How do they get
Most likely
500?
Pick the ideal rotate.
How do
where
they get
don't run into a
500
lot of
extra
players since
tags?
They have the freedom to do so.
Yeah, I expect them to hit one more launch pad along the way. It's like that little mountain just above towards the right side, but you see them. Something they used in the last game as well. They used the Flowberry Fizz, the late launch pads, because they are contested and have options around them to get that early surge. They're not looking for 500 right out of the gates. They're just looking for about 100, 200 surge so they can make rotations just like this. But as we tune in, a team that's finding those struggles. Trulex, Chicho, 170 points, but once again separated as a solo.
Holy.
Dangerous. He is gonna choose to disengage with the dashes, but rebooting this late in the match is incredibly difficult, so this might just be another solo game.
Yeah, we've seen Chicho do it in game 1. Trulex do it last weekend, but now it's just a whole different situation. Feeling the pressure. So many angles. Now they're just trying to break into the box.
Chicho's dead.
Not enough. Reason is going to be the one to take him down, but
Jeez.
how did Trulex go down? Well, it was a well-placed snipe by Kurwa.
Yeah.
What a way to go down.
We got headshot sniped.
Remember, he was the one just crouching behind a box at Lavish Lair, waiting for the zone to pull away, and now he's used that as his chance to make his way on in. He has a good amount of loot alongside his materials, so if he doesn't get spotted here, he should just be able to keep sneaking his way into zone.
Okay. They are nowhere to be found.
So you just eyeing
Cammy
as
and
much
Say.
information as possible. I think that team might have a little bit of inkling that somebody is floating around, especially little audio cues like that. But Mappy and Kiro might not necessarily know that Noms is a solo, and you see him double checking, triple checking, peeking towards the outside. Anybody else slow to rotate in? And you almost have to take those extra couple seconds to be careful like that because you don't have your teammate. There's extra set of eyes.
61 below, come on.
Have his eye on a possible reboot opportunity at one of these split areas, but so many other teams, 2 to be exact, have noticed him.
Oh wait,
moving in
Cammy
that
said he
direction
on
as a solo.
4th.
That was a good crouch there to get a bit of vision, but look,
Yeah.
it's Forzen and his duo partner, Seb, that are going to be looking to capitalize on the situation, but Noms quickly to build up and say, look, if you want to take this battle, I'm going to make it take a long time for you, so you better start running away.
And this is only just going to help Noms if he can come out on top of the fight, disengage or not, because now you're just building up his Storm Surge damage. And you could easily just let him kind of get taken out by the zone altogether. Silly Seb on the other side. Noms trying to break into the box. This is where you have that 1v1 separation, but finally in comes Forzen, disrupting the fight yet again, trying to save Silly Seb, who actually got knocked.
Seb, I think, even just fell down and twisted his ankles there on the ground to get knocked, but at least his duo partner cleaned it up. Swizzy Vanyak, both players still up now. Shots trying to come through, but nothing big connected once again.
Crazy.
Opponents getting kicked by Storm Surge. They do not want to let them do damage
That's
as they're already
wild.
above. It's almost just a waiting game here.
Yeah, may not necessarily know that those players are suffering the Storm Surge up until now, where shields get cracked just like that, and now they know their opponents are weak, either taking damage from outside, but even they can notice no other shots pouring in, so it has to be Storm Surge, and you can see why they're playing very, very slowly, very calculated, knowing that team is taking damage. Eventually, they're going to have to push into Vanyak and Swizzy, and it's going to be a trap waiting for them.
It's a tough spot to be in.
Dude, I'm
Making a comeback from that situation
after this
is
game I'm going to sleep, bro. I don't know why, but I'm
impossible,
just tired.
If anyone's gonna
I'm
do it,
so tired.
it's duos that have qualified to the grand finals.
I can't
with
even
Swizzy and Vanyak
look,
being on
keep
the
my
other end
eyes
of that
open to
doorway.
watch this.
Just a couple shots are gonna need to be landed here.
Just great teamwork for them.
Oh,
Swizzy's
yeah.
just spraying one side of the build, forcing them to hold their position, hold their cover, while Vaniac is playing up, playing aggressive, making sure that they can't disengage either. Now that they got
that
some
tree
shots
was
when it came to that storm
absolutely
surge,
throwing.
they instantly start their rotation out. They combine the Flowberry Fizz
Nah.
and the Wings of Icarus.
That beam is
Goes
crazy.
so well up until this point, but those are the fine examples of what happens when you get caught off guard traveling through the sky.
A lot of
That's
materials have
true.
been forced
I have experience of that.
to be used now. They will be able to recuperate what they lost, but might lead to a earlier refresh. Walks Pixie though. Also got themselves in a little bit of engagement, but it looks like they might have just been the duo that came out on top. Nice little knock came through. And Walks and Pixie continuing now still below.
And they spotted out Cammy, Seti over on the side, and it's almost an isolated fight. There is a couple teams positioned just high up on that hill, but that's not going to stop Walks and Pixie because they have no other choice. Their hand is being forced by Storm Surge, a blessing for Seti and Cammy because they're well above, and with a couple of shots, with a couple of tags from Storm Surge, they are huge leaders here in this one particular fight.
Oh, nice shots landed by Seti and Cammy to drop down Pixie. Now 344 above. Quick little refresh on a bit of the loot and materials. Walks left alone. Are they going to continue to apply that pressure, though? He's still getting ticked by Surge. They're going to hear the crack come through, knowing that he's low. But so far, they're just taking shots from afar. No push coming through yet.
And just continuously putting the pressure. And what that's doing right now is forcing Walks to potentially make a mistake. And the more pressure they put on, it kind of displaces Walks in different boxes, different elevations, to where that's where they're hoping things do slip up. Seti, Cammy just diving a little bit into the storm, but that's just because they want to make that quick and easy rotation where virtually nobody has yet to make their journey on over there.
Dude, I'm actually gonna fall asleep. Wait. Dude, guys.
Oh, look at that.
I'm stopping stream. I'm literally gonna fall
They're
asleep.
back in business.
I'm not
but
even
with
kidding.
no
I'm not even
shield.
kidding. I'm gonna fall asleep, bro.
They need to make some sort of miracle.
I'll stream tomorrow. I'll stream tomorrow. I've been streaming for 6 hours and I'm just so tired, bro. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you for 500 subs. Make sure to go follow me on Twitch, bro. Everyone who can, go follow me on Twitch right now. Please, it really helps me out. Bye Loot, bye What the Sigma, bye Wolfie, bye everyone, bye Gabby.
How much pressure they went through, Vaniac and Swizzy.
See ya.
And they're just continuously taking it one step at a time, and they immediately push forward and then find themselves a blessing. Combat's going to go down 348. Not much for the damage in the threshold, but they still have another team in their line of sights that's beginning to take the focus. And you can see a lot of the calculations going down as we're speaking to where do they go for it? Do they not go for it? Since they have the front side of zone, I think they're going to choose the easier, the less resistant path.
Nice way to slide on into that gift. You can see up above,
no
it's
way.
Vexy for Harlow.
My mic has not been on this entire
He might just be
fucking
able to
time.
maintain height here.
Holy shits.
Good zone close on that
I
side,
didn't
though. I'm trying to
realize.
calculate it.
Wow.
Oh my.
Mabuka left
I've
alone,
been
but with that
commentating this entire
loadout,
time.
Jacob,
And my mic has been off.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see a similar clutch to what we saw Cammy do not too long ago.
Silly, silly boy I am.
This is going to be a great opportunity if you're Swizzy and Vaniac to really create such a huge gap between
hi,
you and the
Caps.
rest of the playing
Yeah,
field.
here
Yes,
we
you
go.
have Seti, Cammy, Queasy, Thomas waiting in 4th and 5th place, but over a 120-point deficit before they catch up.
120
Tace and
the
Veno
heck, just like that.
landing a couple good shots to get them 151
Very
above the
nice.
damage threshold. It's one
Thomas
of
is
the
1 HP.
things I feel like have been ailing them from time to time up to this position of the game. They're
Barely
down on
any
Surge,
builds on
forced to fight.
Queasy
So
as
as long
well.
as they stay ahead of the curve in this game,
Good
I
tag
think
on
they'll be well
Vino.
off.
Queasy, nice quick tag in the air.
Thomas goes
Thomas
down.
HD has to be careful. He's been knocked out.
Wow!
Now left alone as paint gets
That's
cracked.
beautiful.
Is he going to choose to
Tag
play it
was
slow here?
amazing.
Only 8 builds for Queasy.
No ADS.
He really needs to
Full
find a
set.
refresh here.
Yeah, I think with Thomas going down, he has no choice but to play a little bit more passive, even though he landed that good shot onto Pink, dropping the shields, dropping the HP. At least they
Oh,
got
he's so
themselves a
bad.
little bit of a crevice that they can
So
hang on
funny.
to, safe from the zone while they heal up and kind of plan their next rotation, which seemingly for everybody
switch
get
up.
a pretty easy pull,
Trying to
which
fix
means
this.
it's going to be
I don't know why
very,
it's
very
like that.
chaotic for most as they finally pick the perfect time to try to rotate out. Get out.
Cammy Seti looking to take some shots before rotation. I believe they have more than enough as players plan their rotate. Zone starts closing now. Vigo Pink continue ahead. They have
Not bad
healed up
match,
now.
honestly.
Forced to use quite a bit of their Flowberry Fizz, but as they're
mean,
grouped up,
I thought I said 100.
They're ready now to do more damage.
Yeah, this is one of the most consistent teams for a reason. They know how to get out of tough spots when it calls for it. Similar to Malabuka and Mustache in that last major. They put the uncontested contested to rest as they win it all while being contested. But Pete goes down. Vico by himself. Huge elimination can be found onto Mappy. Get credit for those points and even more for the placements as his team is fully taken down. But Vico, 163 damage above the threshold. Only has bandage to his name to recover some of that HP. He's flying by, almost smooth sailing up until then to try to find his way to the front side of the zone.
Cracked down to 11, forced to pop the bandages now. Still has a flow berry, so he can recuperate a bit of that shield, but he needs time. And with all the duos surrounding him, they're not giving him that time.
Just a moment to breathe is all he really needs. Same for
bad,
Banyak, who
though.
loses Swizzy and loses himself in the mix. First place is down. And it's really up to Queasy here. He's at the top of the leaderboard for players still left alive to really try to close that gap. But he needs to go big. He needs to start building momentum in his side. It's going to be virtually impossible with no builds.
No builds, but he has faith. It's Queasy we're talking about here.
Eclipse and Dexy on
are
height.
going to be the ones that have claimed height. Vortex with Volko doing a good job of
I don't think
staying
I've
ahead
seen
and
them
claiming low.
have height.
Volko's still up and running strong. 165 above, doing a good amount of damage as well as he gets ahead with the dash.
I watched a couple games, so
Quickly
probably missed them.
utilizing that medallion time and time again. That way he doesn't take too much damage. Almost threads the needle with a snipe right there. But Malabuka's persistence. If at first you don't succeed, you try again. Run to the backside of the zone, finding only one bandage. But it was a sacrifice that was well worth making for Malabuka as he quickly finds
Queasy gets a
himself
knock
inside
there
the
on
zone in
Tayson?
safety yet again.
Queasy
Great
taking
kill.
down Tayson.
Good
And
kill
now
to finish
left
that off.
alone as Queasy goes down.
Cammy alone here.
Once again,
44
as well as a
points
solo,
this
looking to
game.
clutch it up.
Yeah,
That is not their
Cammy's
total
already
points,
been
by the
in
way,
this
Chuck.
situation once today, and he's
That is
ready
very
for
wrong.
a tough task
They were
to try
top
to
four,
pull
there's
through
no way.
one more time with a good amount of points to keep him
48
set his
points.
position on that leaderboard intact. But you can see him trying to calculate, playing careful, along with Teeny.
Teeny not reloaded, that killed him
basically.
basically.
Dexy, Eclipse,
1
everything comes
HP
crashing down.
actually.
That
Yeah,
opportunity
he
slipped
popped
through
the second
Teeny's
banana
fingers,
just for that
and him
health.
and Chap come crumbling down to the mid layer.
We're gonna need to eat some
Took
fizz
us
as
all
well
playing
there.
game one.
Malabuka
We're
just
looking
needs to
claim
not
our
fight,
spot
but
once
actually
again.
he needs this kill.
Malabuka, though,
Get this finish, get this
one shot
finish.
away from taking
Nice,
out
nice.
Miraz. He does it.
what he
Gets the
needed.
knock, claims the elim as well now. Materials have been recuperated, but there's duos in sight. He has to be careful.
actually
Quick
picked up
thinking
the
to dash inside of the zone to land the shot that mattered. He could only
Cammy
take a few
has
ticks
good
to the
loot
storm,
there.
and he made it work. His
He
Cammy
whiffed so
now
bad though and
finally
hit
up to the
20 in
challenge.
that last shot.
Shari's the way you want to take him down.
Malabuka goes down as
Multiple
well.
solos still scrounging
Volko and
around, but a couple of them
Vortexer.
were instantly taken down by
Vortexer.
Vocal and
I can't speak
Vortexers.
English, man.
Picked off one by one as
Eclipse
Eclipse
is
and
solo,
Dexy
and
once
Chari.
again have reclaimed the
Height
high
and
ground, but they're not looking
low
healthy.
ground.
Eclipse
Both
just a
solo.
sliver of HP. Meanwhile, Volko, Vortexers looking very healthy.
Vortex-
And they're
Texas
one of the
bad.
strong teams. Mini Miners favorite.
Volko's
but
already down?
instantly the curse happens. They go down. One's left with just a sliver of HP,
Wow.
trying to survive the onslaught
They're
from
not so
Velry and
fast.
Fire Hunter as they continue to smoothly move through this end game as they go down to the ultimate low ground and bring it down to a final 2v2.
This is
Dexy
actually
and Eclipse, Velry and Fire
Hard
Hunter.
to tell who
Got a
wins
part of
this.
the tree.
Low
They
ground
have
has
barely
way better
no
health
mats down
here.
below. Up height, dropping down, shots connected.
Eclipse goes down.
Dexy Eclipse goes down. It's all
Looks
up
like
to
low
Dexy
ground's
now.
gonna win this.
Two, can he land his shots? He cannot.
Barely.
As Valerie and Fire Hunter take it home.
And
Very
that is a
Fire
prime
Hunter.
example. Dexy and Eclipse trying to hold on the high ground zone.
Definitely a team I
after
didn't
zone
expect to win
after
again.
zone. They ran out of materials, and eventually Fire Hunter and Velry just chopped them down in the palm of the hands, serving up a victory
And down to
royale on a
basically
silver
health
platter.
there.
They were looking so healthy up on the high ground, but Chapantini said, we want a piece of that pie. The battle broke out, and it led to the duo up on height, Dexy and Eclipse, being forced to pop
Still a
as many
good
heals as
second for
possible, but they were just not
Eclipse.
able to hit those crucial shots in the last moments.
Yeah, and just
Really
you see
good
them
save.
separated, falling down one after the next. Eclipse was easy, they took him down,
What we really
and
wanted
eventually
to
the
see, actually.
spray taking down his teammate as well. Just a
Did you
huge victory royale for Fire Hunter and Velry,
Yeah.
starting to build that confidence before the day
We
is
are
over.
watching Lost Game because I
Just one more
have
game
shit
to
to
be
do.
played out today, but
But
we have to see how
thank you
that's
everybody who
shaking
came
up
to
the
stream today.
leaderboard. So let's head over to the analyst.
I know
desk
it's
and
a
see what they've
short
got for
stream.
us.
had a friend over.
Thank
so.
you very much.
Let's play
What
that
a
much.
tense victory royale at the end.
Well, I
That
didn't
high
even
ground
play.
versus low
Couldn't
ground. But
do
as
much.
it has been
But
for the last
thank
few
you, everybody.
games, I think all of
Really
the games
appreciate you all.
tonight, boys, high ground
And-
had it in the bag
Yeah,
for
thanks.